Yeah, baby. The Mac is back. Back with another video. Hello, the initiated. My name is Marcus Jonikola, and today we're checking out Strands by Void and Vista. I am super excited for this because we've checked out one library by Void and Vista before. I don't actually know if they have more than two, but basically they reached out to me back when we did that demo. Never heard of the company, checked it out. It seemed super cool, so I gave it a shot, and basically Void and Vista shot right to the top game of sample library developers in my books. Certainly in the department of, you know, sort of cinematic and super artistic, vibey, tone specific, atmospheric stuff. And yeah, that was a super impressive effort. And immediately after that, I wanted to check out Strands, because I think Strands was the first release, I believe. I think they have two products here. Yeah, the first release. So I sent them a message, hey, can I check out Strands because I love folds, which was the first demo. And they said yes, but they said we have an update that we're working on right now. So, you know, you can film it now if you want. And then I, you know, thought about it, but decided to wait for the update so that this demo is sort of maximally useful, I guess, because a lot of the things, from what I've gathered, they learned a lot of lessons from doing folds, the second library, and then they kind of implemented a lot of those lessons back into Strands, which is the first library. So yeah, we agreed I would get back to it once the 2.0 comes out, and it has been out now for a moment. I just haven't been able to film this because we had our second kid, and also I had a video game release, and then I started a new project altogether. So been busy, but finally getting into this. Yeah, I mean, in short, I'm super excited to hear what this sounds like, because Folds was just such a, I think, a phenomenal effort. So, but let's go onto the website. So this is subtitled "A Cinematically Sound Designed Collection of Bowed and Electronic Instrumentation." So kind of like a not a super specific definition. I remembered the bowed instruments. In my mind, I thought it was like strings, you know, manipulated strings, but apparently it's a lot more than that, based on this description. Collection of bowed instruments and electronic instrumentation. So not sure how those two sort of come together here. Pricing 149 euros for me. That probably changes depending on where you are and where the website is sort of, you know, detecting that you're at. Let's check. Does Folds cost the same amount? Yeah, so this is the kind of pricing strategy that they have, at least so far. Yeah, kind of everything is the same price. I would say like super reasonably priced. Obviously this is not like $50, it's not like $20, it's not $100. 150, I would describe this as like a as cheap as possible boutique library, and this is my opinion purely. But like Folds was, and again, I can't speak of Strands yet because I haven't played a single note of this, but Folds was like top tier stuff for that price. If those sounds really speak to you, if they're inspiring to you, for me it's a no-brainer. So yeah, I mean, these could be easily, I would say, double the price. That would not be exceptional. So I'm really a big fan of this pricing, because it kind of speaks of the fact that they want as many people as possible to have access to these, because these could easily be indeed. Let's not buy Strands. I clicked more payment options and it sent me over here. Puts it in the basket. Oh yeah, well that makes sense, because you have to choose your payment option in the basket. Cool. So this is for free Contact Player. I guess we'll come to the specs later on, what you need down below. Available in VST, VST3, AU, and AAX. Cool. Then you have a trailer. We have some big heavy hitters here giving praise to this. For me personally, probably the biggest one is Son Lux, who says, a gorgeous instrument. I don't know what Son Lux sounds like. And I'm not gonna make up a sound because I would probably do something really stupid, and if I meet them ever in real life, I don't want any video proof of that. Let's do something super cool. I don't know if I can do a super cool voice, but a gorgeous instrument that masterfully balances the familiar with the strange. Very cryptic. Yeah, insanely creative library, wonderful, inspiring, beautifully responsive. You don't look at the knobs, you just open your ears. That's what she said. I've got every library known to man, but few have got me this excited creatively. I'm sorry, I had to. A highly inspirational tool for the sonically adventurous creator. Cool. Some audio examples, which we'll bypass here. Do we have anything more? This seems like a Shopify page because it's very optimized for buying the stuff. Yeah, performance controls, simplified stuff, makes sense. Dynamic background, which I like. Again, a lot of people are going to scoff at that. Ooh, look, the interface changes when you move the knobs. I like that. It makes the process of creation more pleasant and engaging. So really a big fan of anyone who implements that kind of stuff, if it looks good. But you know, deeper editing, additional parameters available under every performance control. That's cool. Again, I like that kind of layering approach, because if the instrument is done well, you probably don't have to go sort of deeper into sub menus. Sometimes you do, but I like this because for the most part it keeps the interface quite clean and fresh. Okay, getting into sound sources. 32 of them here. Bows, so these are raw acoustic and electronic instruments with lots of character and expression. Then you have effects, mix of abstract real-world samples, processed instruments, and complex multi-sampled synthesis. So basically a bunch of stuff can be in there. Waves, utility synth waves and noise, providing the building blocks for sound design. Super cool, super useful. They know their stuff, because oftentimes sounds are enhanced by very basic waveforms or noise, like they say, just to, you know, add some meat in there in most cases. So that's cool. So yeah, here we have a picture of that. So bows, in bows we have 8, which are acoustic clean, acoustic chaotic, acoustic EBow, vibes, viola clean, sul pont viola, very nice. You know, I'm a big sul pont fan. Electric and bass. Nice to have a fish in there. Effects, cymbal textures, tray, resin, resynth, glass, ghosts, cyber hum, depth charge. Everything is ventilated, stressed, broken tape. Yeah, this is me. Ventilated and stressed. Broken tape, undercurrent, shards, clouds, murmur, flutters. Cool. Yeah, I love the kind of stuff like trays. Trays can sound amazing. I know that's probably not something you expected, but a lot of random like metal, I'm assuming it's metal, maybe. But yeah, a lot of those kind of things can have beautiful sounds, percussively especially. Waves, sine, triangle, square, saw, super saw, noise low, noise mid, and noise high. Nice. Dual layer design. So morphing, this was in folds as well. Blend between the two layers with crossfading or layering. Yeah, pretty cool. Very basic concept, but I will say that in folds it was a lot better implemented than in a lot of other libraries that I've seen, which basically just ends up sounding like a weak kind of a crossfade. You had to put a lot of thought into how what kind of sounds are you morphing in this case, fading in and out of, because if they're not paired right, it's just going to sound weird and pretty useless. So I was impressed by the kind of the background work they put into it in that case. Sound source, true sound sources for each layer. Cool. Pitch, fast and intuitive pitch controls. Nice. Dynamics, stereo spread filters. Fair enough. Creative voicing. So again, super cool feature in Folds. Ensemble, blend in additional voices for a sense of scale. Yep. Cascade, create rhythmic effects or looseness. Harmonize, add instant harmony via ensemble layers, and detune, create thickness or inharmonic friction. Nice. In modulation, envelope, link, motion, dual LFOs. Basic stuff, but good stuff. Flexible effects, lo-fi, character, user convolutions, space. So again, this is one of the, like when it comes to libraries that have beautiful tone and texture, they really understand effects at a whole different level, which certainly was the case with Folds. So very much looking forward to that. Over 1,000 snapshots. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. 2.7 gigs. So again, this is not gonna, destroy your drive space. Very, kind of small library in size. 32 sound sources, as we said. And this is all pretty basic stuff. In terms of contact, you're gonna need 7.7.0 or higher. So you're gonna be pretty up to date. Mac OS 11 or above. I don't even know what my Mac OS is right now. Natively compatible with Apple Silicon. Nice. Windows 10 and 11. Nice. And native access, download and installation. Cool. We also have a user guide here, which I'm actually gonna, ooh, it opens up here. Let's download that. In case we need it, because we might. And that's about what we have on the website. So let's go back here. Let's actually go and set up that manual as well, because we might. Oh, it's still loading. How the heck is it still loading? Why is this so slow? It's only a few megabytes. Well, any case, we're gonna wait for that to load apparently. Some other basic things. Transparency. So Void and Vista did send me this copy. So first of all, thank you to them for doing so. That being said, as always, all opinions are my own, both in good and bad. Haven't been asked to say anything one way or the other, nor would I ever do that. In terms of what we'll be doing today, I'll just try and be playing as much of this as possible to give you an idea if this is something that is for you. So just go through basically as many snapshots or presets, whatever you want to call them, as possible, and then we'll do some tweaking if I so desire, but probably going to be pretty minimal on that front. In terms of what I'll be playing, I'll just basically cycle through them. I'll try and play all of it. I don't know. Again, let's have a look at this stuff here. So yeah, that's a good amount of stuff in here. So I think it's doable. So I'll play around with everything for a moment, and when something really speaks to me, I'll spend more time with it, and then I'll probably be blown away. In terms of what you'll be hearing today, it's only Strands in action. I don't add any effects, no EQ, no reverb, no compression, nothing. I only have a limiter on my master bus to make the level sort of more decent and controlled for this video. That being said, it's set to be as transparent as possible. I'll be doing very, very minimal gain fuckery. So you'll be hearing this as authentically as I can possibly produce it here. Have we downloaded the manual? Yes, we have. So it's open over there. We'll go into Streamlabs here, and we'll pop up that manual, which is here. And we'll make this a bit better. Something like that. Do we want to... Let's just do a brief look through here. Is there anything you want to touch on? Not really. We'll probably jump back in here in case there's something I can't figure out or don't remember. I do remember that with folds there was a few things that I just didn't sort of catch on. So I want to at least try and do this as much justice as possible, because I'm sure it is probably pretty cool if folds told me anything. So yeah, we'll jump into the manual if I sort of bump into any kind of things that I can't figure out. But I like to also do that because it hopefully can help the devs improve the interface. I don't know if that says a lot because, you know, I can be a bit of a dummy, and I'm sure many of you are at home and you're like, how does he not fucking understand this? But that's part of the the game. Cool. I think we've touched on everything that we need to touch on. When you open this up here in the rack view, interestingly enough, I don't know if this is how it was supposed to be set up. I think so. I have no reason to expect anything else. But here, you get two NKIs. So you got the original Strands NKI, which opens the whole thingamajiggy, and then you have Strands 2. And I think this is actually super cool, because if there was something in one that you were already using and really like, you can still load that up. I don't know how much overlap there is. Like, are the presets the same but just improved? I don't know, and I'm not going to do that comparison here. They could be entirely new things, or they could be the old stuff but just updated. I don't know. But again, you know, in terms of recalling stuff, that can be super good, because if you updated Strands and it's trying to you know, open up Strands 1 or the original 1.0, then that can be messy. So that's a small detail, but tremendous inclusion. And if it's a different set of presets, I think it's even cooler, because it's like, hey, more good stuff for you. Cool. When you open this drop-down menu here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different folders. Funnily enough, starting with 0, which makes sense because it's kind of like a highlight thing. So I'm guessing these are different presets or different snapshots from these other folders. Not sure about that, so we're still going to go through highlights. But you know, if I'm probably gonna hear maybe at least most of them if they are the same. So we're just gonna skip them in the later folders. But you do get these 7 folders, which are usefully enough very descriptively named: pads, motions, drones, textures, keys, sound effects. And then we have this highlight folder, which presumably again is a summary of the best highlights of Strands. Let's start with highlights, and this one is called Welcome Back. Just briefly looking at the interface, again, I love this design. Super clean, super simple. It feels like it gives room for my creative ideas instead of thinking about controls. There's a dynamic slider, filter, motion, ensemble, lo-fi, character, space. Very nice. Then in here we have this weird image. Oh, it's a picture of a bow, like a violin bow or a cello bow. So that shows us what's up and what category we are in. And then below that you have this this selector for the actual specific source. Okay, makes sense. Here we have note pitch view, which is the keyboard, switches between sample and note pitch views. And this is sample pitch view, switches between sample and, okay, yeah, descriptive. Cool. Okay, so yeah, different ways. Sample pitch and note pitch. Cool. Then morphing. Look at this. He's waving. Or she. I don't dare to assume their gender. See. This is by far the best feature in this library. Pretty sure the devs weren't expecting that. This is pretty funny to me. Hello. Hello. Hello, my name is Marcus. I don't know why I speak like that, but pretty close to the original accent anyway. And yeah, when you add these in, I like this that it's adding in the ensemble there, and then more of these hands are coming up. So that's a really cool detail, which I think happened in folds as well. I just love this interface. This alone can be pretty inspiring. Morphing, you can change, what is this? Okay, so what I'm trying to kind of figure out about this is, okay, yeah, so it's an ADSR, an image of an ADSR curve. Makes sense. That's actually really nice. Now that I actually used some of my very limited brain power, that's a really cool visual design thing. So you can adjust those for either layer. Very nice. Me likey that. And morphing, you can choose presumably between these different shapes. So that's also going to help a lot with finding the right pairings between the morphs. And then you have this button here. Oh, okay, so the waves are always going to be there as well as a... Okay, yeah, obviously this is the Supersol layer and this is the acoustic layer. So here I would like to see like visually something that maybe shows me that they are zones. I mean, it makes complete sense when you look at it. I'm being super picky here, but obviously this pitch area here tells me that I'm dealing with a similar area as I was on the left, so I can just understand that, okay, I'm morphing between the two. But yeah, I'm not even gonna continue that line of thought because it's it's really nice. Looks really nice. Let's start playing this one. Let's see what happens. Bear with me as I get a sort of a decent level going here as well. I want to hear that low end. That's a really interesting growl. A lot of those kind of textural strings can get sort of, it can be very difficult to get that kind of bottom there, but this actually has a very pleasant growl to it. I wonder how much of that Supersol is coming through. Let's play with that morph. Okay, so it gets a lot louder, so let me pull back on the level here. Yeah, there again, the morphing works really, really nicely. And that speaks to, again, the sound pairing selection, because in so many cases, going between sounds just ends up sounding kind of shit. So, again, speaks to kind of the designing aspect of this a lot. Very dynamic. Like, that dynamic range there is super, super big. So I wonder if this control, does it influence that one? Yeah, it definitely does. That's a really, really nicely implemented control. Because easily those can begin to, like, a dynamic range control in so many sample libraries just ends up sounding like a weird deformed volume control. But here it sounds genuinely like it's expanding the range of the dynamics genuinely and in a musical way. So this is really nice because it allows you to find the sweet spot for your track, because maybe you don't want the dynamics to be super drastic, but you want them to be more so than they are now, or maybe you want them less. And this is actually a super welcome control. So they say dynamics controls pre-filter volume intensity of the sound, but it sounds like it's really well paired with everything that's here. It's very, musically contextual, I would say. Let's go on to the next one. This is Crushed Shell. Yeah. Okay, that sounds really good. What I love about these kind of things is that they don't automatically sync, because with this kind of a sound, when there's such a nice, rich texture there, and that source sound is so good, oftentimes I want to slightly, or even more so, offset when notes are actually coming in. So I don't want them to be in perfect sync, but I want a sort of a ripple effect. So I love that it doesn't automatically just sync everything. Obviously, you can just do that in your DAW MIDI editor as well. I'm not sure if you can, where you would go in here to adjust that, if that was even a possibility. But again, I would just prefer to have it like this by default and then just do it in my MIDI editor if I want to quantize. But I love that. I mean, and that sound is really to die for. I'm gonna do it. It's the second preset. I'm walking away. This is just this source sound is just perfectly like, I wanted to say plum. Is that what I want to say? We've been feeding our kid plum sauce. So it's just, or I don't know, it's just so beautifully sort of pulsating and juicy. But the pairing with those effects just makes this like a beautiful. It's so beautiful, and the contour, the movement there is just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful sound design. And this is one of the things with Folds, like, if I remember correctly, I didn't get a feel like this is doing something like under the hood, like in terms of like contact tech and nothing fancy in the realm of like legato, that kind of stuff. I can hear it, that it's sort of simple in that way, but the craft and the artistry that has gone into, first of all, creating and generating the original samples and making them so beautiful, and how that pairs into their sound design abilities and the effects and the architecture of this engine. They're just so well paired that it just plays beautifully, even if I can hear that it's not like legatoing certain notes into one another. And that wouldn't really even work with this type of a sound that it's going for. I love that it has this element of manipulation to it. Like, there's a sense that it is somehow worked in a machine, and you have this beautiful pairing of these organic sound sources and these beautiful sound design effect, and it's not only the effects, but how these sounds move within this engine. It's just such a beautiful pairing of the mechanic or the synthetic meeting the organic. It's just really stunning sounding. beautiful sound. I love that it's so specific, and also they've gone also pretty far in designing that sound. So it's already sort of set on a track there, but in terms of what you're going to do with it, that's a question mark still. So I love that. It's already doing a thing that you are responding to. But you know, it's what I'm trying to say. It's very inspiring. Sprankly jangles. Jeez, that's a word or a sentence. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. That's, to me, super inspiring. I love everything about that. You know, I like to use simple synthesis sources with beautiful effects, and then this also blends some of that organic stuff in there. Just a beautiful, full, evocative sound, texturally super rich, already doing this kind of a pattern here. This is super inspiring to me. I will 100% write a track with this sound. Yeah, awesome stuff. Ornithopter. These names are making me think I'm having a stroke. Okay, that's loud. Let's pull back the volume a bit. Alright, so basically Transformer having diarrhea. Very cool. Kind of spacey, kind of, you know, contemplative. Music from Breachway there. Very cool, kind of a haunting thing. I'm not a huge, like, glassy, tinny, what's the word I'm looking for? Those kind of sounds. Not a big fan of that, but that was super impressively done, which speaks volumes about how well it's done. clumps. Everbloom. Everbloom. Okay, so this is really cool that the morph has a range. How does that work? So this slider adjusts the kind of relative position of the range there. But let me morph. Where can I adjust the morph? Is it? No? I remember this from last time, I'm sure. No, I don't. This might have been a thing that I thought about last time. So based on anything I see here, that's not it. So, so pitch I would expect to be just pitch. Yep, that has no influence on that. Manual. Let's do it. Let's see how fast I can find that. So yeah, morph. Okay, fade style. Use morph title, crossfade. Cool. We know that. Expanded controls. I don't think that helps us. Envelopes. Okay, that much we understand. Envelope controls. There's an... I still don't think these ones... Mount? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's it. Glide pitch, no. I don't think that's it either. So what I definitely understand about the morphing ranges, what I like here, again, if we look at this lo-fi control here, we have this control, which controls, well, it seems like it controls the start and end point of these. So I would expect to see something, wait a minute. No. Okay, yeah, I would expect to see something right here in the middle that would allow me to adjust the morphing range. I'm definitely, I'm definitely missing something here. But in terms of, so that must, so that smaller slider there must reflect the travel of the effects here in the different layers. So filter, lo-fi, character, we can adjust these also. So I know that that's that. But how do I make this? Hello. How do I, yeah. Well, I'll try and figure it out. Let's actually just jump back in the manual here for a second. Okay, dynamic section allows you to shape the volume and width of the layer. I don't think that does that. And these are just... Okay, we'll just keep at it. and if I find a good example in practice, then I'll be able to hopefully learn it from that. Yeah, beautiful top end in that one. Okay, so this is a bit more telling. So, okay, with this I control the mid blend point. And with this only controls the... what would you even call that? The motion effect range of the effects. But with some, I believe this was controlling the mix between the two. Maybe I've misunderstood or misremember something about that, but let's keep playing. Like that low end, you can do some really cool drone stuff with that. That's pretty hardcore. I'm sorry for my flimsy, floppy fingers today. I'll try and be better. Maybe it's because I fasted for too long and then I had 1,000 calories in one go. All right, that was all the highlights. So let's go into pads and start plowing through these. I love that many of these have, wouldn't quite say like atonal components to them, but there's definitely some pitch boundary stuff going on there, which I really like, because, and also some of the harmonics coming in here, some of the parts of the samples, they kind of evoke a sense of a sort of further, deeper harmonization, but they're not so prominent that it actually changes the fundamental sense of the pitch or the chord in this case, but it kind of evokes like, ooh, we're going to this different dimension here. It's like a I don't know how many dimensions we would have, but it's like a fourth dimension in, because throughout my life in music, I've sort of been searching for this thing that resides between the notes, you know, something beyond our usual, you know, how we actually tune things in Western music. But to me, the answer has not been, you know, kind of micro tuning going into, well, in part it is, but it has more to do with texture and with the harmonics of a sound. And I find that you can sort of access this deeper dimension in harmony, for me, the thing that I'm looking for, by exploring these different textures and finding those different harmonics, and it sort of expands to this new dimension that I've always felt like I wanted to explore in music, but really couldn't. And this is some of the stuff that I talked about when we did the demo for Spectres, for blanking now, Slate and Ash, or Slate plus Ash Spectres, because that really hit a lot of that stuff for me. And this is really, you know, has a lot of things that are sort of reminiscent of that as well. I think we did Everbloom already, so going into Fading Memories. And there's definitely doing some pitch changing there. We are clipping the limiter because this is a lot louder than the other presets. We definitely need to tweak the kind of the ramping up and down curves there. Beautiful sound, like pad rhythm thing somewhere in between. Limiter clipping. I think we did this one already, maybe. Definitely have some pitch tuning going there as well, but those kind of things in subtle ways can sort of evoke some of the stuff that I was talking about. Beautiful. Definitely going to do stuff with that. I would probably program in a bit more motion somewhere in there, but that's really, really close. Very nice, very lush and plump. Was not expecting kind of that wide of a scope of sounds. I think we had particle releases already. It's so rich and thick and cinematic. I mean, beautifully done. The design for that. I don't know if we already played this, but I want to play more. Beautiful, that cyclical. Sounds like a motor, something. It could be. Apparently you have a tray and glass here, but it's beautiful. Beautiful. Love that kind of stuff. Pads can get sort of so static that kind of a, that's like a pad atmosphere, but it has this rhythm, this, you know, chugging motion. I love that because it sounds very organic. Sounded like a motor running or something like that. Very pleasant. Really freaking good. Yeah, I'm doing it. I love that kind of stuff. It's just perfectly big and thick, and the distortion there, it's like the perfect amount of like that lo-fi grit, kind of, you know, on top of it all. Just, I love that kind of stuff. Very, very good. Viola 2049. What's going on there? Viola Sparkle. Okay, looks like we're going into a different folder. This is airlock opening. Motions. I'll probably dig these pretty hard. So that's like a Decepticon whispering to you in your sleep. Serve me, human. Again, beautiful texture there. Just a perfect amount of distortion in the right place. Again, those broken, sparse sounds, very nice. Yeah, I love how you can use that space to kind of flutter? Why am I saying this? Because it says it on the screen. To kind of swoop in, whoosh in, push in some of that space and that weight. That's a really, really nice detail. Super nice. Started off, I was like, but then, you know, spreading out into this is like, it's like a alert type of a thing, but it's sort of smooth and soft. So it's kind of attention grabbing, but very pleasant to listen to. Again, the kind of the spread, the bubbliness of it is super nice. That's so well done, because that top end could easily get sort of harsh on the ear, but it has that like perfect amount of rounding and smoothness, making it catches your attention, but it's not unpleasant to listen to. Very nice. That's super nice. What the motion is doing there. Bit of that lo-fi. Super nice. Character. The compression, saturate. That makes sense. Blur. Yeah. No, brilliant, brilliant stuff. This one we played already. Death March. Did we play this one as well? Well, yeah, we did. Good memory, Marcus. Depth of light. Now, I should also note we're obviously not changing tempo here. This one was like first one making me think about it, but again, you can. Changes the sound. Very big surprise. I haven't even finished playing that, but that's perfect. Again, you have that soft, pleasant, simple synth there, and like all these effects creating this very, very pleasant texture there. Just like 10 out of 10 for me. Just the way that's so pleasant and smooth, and then you have this layer on top of it kind of sprinkling this glitch, distorting, fluctuating thing. It's just stellar. Yeah, I would shave some of that top motion out of there, make it really, you know. Beautiful. You can do so much stuff. Like I have 10 different ideas coming out of that alone. Very cool. Can't really wait for the playable keys as well, because those must be pretty awesome. That's the limiter. Yeah, it suddenly gets very loud there. Yeah, super beautiful. I like that these presets are like when you get a good preset, a good snapshot, well-designed thing, it's like a toy box. It's like a playground. Like you know, the sound designer kind of plonks you down in the middle of there, and you're the toddler who looks at the toys and you go, oh, I like that, and then you can take that and easily go and run with it. You don't have to undo a bunch of stuff. You can sort of focus on something and take that and run with it and go. And to me, that's like the sign of like an S-tier sound designer who can do that. They can give you inspiration, they can give you options, they can give you a landscape, but it's not like it can only do this. But instead it's like, you know, sprinkle different ideas here. And it sounds great on its own, but you go, ooh, I like that. And then you can hone in on that. Sorry about that. Sometimes when you load a new sound, when there are still remainders from the previous one, it can trigger some new stuff in there. That was the limiter clipping. It gets a bit loud there. We did lit shards. Yeah, if we had more time, I would work that into key type of sound. 10 out of 10. That's a beautiful sound. Sorry for my crappy playing, but hopefully that idea comes across. That's such a, I mean, that low end, really big cinematic, kind of ominous, and then you have this kind of snappier, almost like reminds me of some of the instruments from the like China or Japan, some of that area, some, you know, plucky stuff there. Super nice. Yeah. Next one. Yeah, more transformers, orbs. Beautiful. Yeah, I said that I don't tend to like glassy type of sounds, but they work really nicely once you kind of filter out some of the top end. For me, it becomes this kind of like very meditative, contemplative type of sounding thing. That really nails it. And even when it opens up here, I don't mind that. I just do maybe a little bit of it, half of this range. It sounds absolutely stellar. Just put a kick on that and you have space rave music. Very nice. I would need to tweak the motions there, but the basic sound concept is very nice. Yeah, we are definitely clipping the limiter a bit there. Very cool textures. I just love how they master that distortion. It's just perfect. It's kind of like chewing on the sound, but it doesn't get harsh. It's super vibey, very moody. I like it. Limiter. Yeah, for those you'd have to work the pitch to work in your favor, but beautiful sound otherwise. This one we did, Spranky Jangles. Very nice, thick, kind of ominous, not ominous, but sort of pushy type of pulsating pad. I think strings interrupted was there, right? No? No? Really loving that mid and high mid area. Super nice. Instantly makes me, it sounds super familiar to me. I don't know why, but Transformer Whisperer. Yeah, a good example of how those glassy things can work. All right, that was the end of the motions. We're going into drones. To adjust that warble for more harmonic stuff. Yeah, I mean, the way these are designed is just so mature. Very cool, I like that. Very good creative use of that pitch changing functionality there. Gets really loud there. So if it clipped, that was the limiter. fantastic. I love this dynamic control here because it's a good example of like the preset, like the way it was made was not dynamic enough for me. So I can just go ahead and adjust that and play with this, and you know, off I go. I don't have to worry about anything additional to that. That's a beautiful sound for doing like dark ambient music, which I do and which I love. So that is the limiter clipping. It's a beautiful, ominous, pulsating thickness to that. Beautiful. Same thing there, like just stellar. Simple, but just super polished. Very nice sounding. Soma dream desu. Yeah, this is pretty like dark ambient heaven for me right now. I just love how that slight shift in that space just like expands the whole thing. And when you pair it with that filter pulling back, makes the sound more, obviously more distant with less of those high frequencies, but then also, you know, so pulling it back, but then spaciously expanding it. So it goes like that, which is, again, super simple, but they've done it so well here. I will say also the reverbs sound really, really nice to me. So interesting sound. Sounds a bit like throat singing or something like that. Stellar, beautiful. Again, like dark ambient heaven for me. That's really cool how it goes from kind of this like tonality into atonality, which kind of like in a dark ambient music context, like, or like Lovecraftian thing, would be like going from sanity to insanity. I'm definitely going to write something with that, because that's like you're really at the very edge of sanity, I guess. And this is beautiful, like just super expansive and nice on its own. I mean, they have to be dark ambient fans, right? I mean, I haven't asked. I've had some email conversations with with them, but which have been super nice. But no, nothing more beyond that. That was a bit of limiter clipping there. Yeah, again, super nice. That was the drones folder. Going into textures. Let's pull back on that level a bit. We have this in the highlights. Yeah, we did, so we can skip that one. I love that. Again, that kind of poppy, grainy thing, bit of like simple synthesis. Very interesting. You could easily jump in there and start tweaking that to do what you're after. Super nice sense of space there when it expands to the back. Beautiful. Yeah, they really know a lot about the introducing a pitch change stuff into a sound. Know a lot of those interesting ways how to make it engaging. Yeah, a 10 out of 10 for me for that one. Just beautiful. It's just so much thought, so much work has gone into designing these layers. Like, just calling it like a morph is kind of like an undersell to me. It's like, I know, like, coming up with fancy words to describe something like that, because it's like in principle it's a simple sort of crossfade type of thing, but it's just so much thought has gone into pairing these sounds, how they use these effects and how they map to those and how they change. It's just such a, like, the whole thing, both sides of it, both ends of it become like this one beautiful, they're like building these tiny individual instruments, which is super impressive. Yeah, like I said, it's just stunning, and I can just move this thing and breathe beautiful motion life into that. It's really well done. Again, same thing. They do that so beautifully. The pulling back the filter and pushing the space to the back. They get that low rumble there in the distance, and it's so sizable and hefty, and so, you know, prominent. They do that so beautifully, and it's yeah, you really want to be moving this as much as possible and utilizing their sound design capabilities in terms of designing these beautiful patches or presets or snapshots, whatever they're called. Too many names for these things. Cool. That's stupidly good. Really, really, really nice. Same thing, pretty stupidly good. We're going into keys. Pretty clumpy indeed. Very, very nice. I am getting a bit dizzy at this point, which is usually a concerning sign in terms of my all the myriad symptoms that I have, but we'll try and push through this. It's a good, fun, kind of lo-fi music box for you. Beautiful. Really, really nice. Cool, like a different version of that. I love this because it's simultaneously very present, but sort of, what's the word? Elusive. It's kind of shifting around. Then you can add this fading movement there to kind of push it back and then back front. Okay, there again, they've predetermined some pitch changes there, so you need to jump in to tweak it if you want to make it sort of tonal in a typical way. Going into sound effects, let's just go. I'm gonna probably go through these pretty fast. Some limiter clipping there. Alright, so that was all of it, as far as I can tell. We went through all of these snapshots, although I was concerned we couldn't, but it seems like we did. So, right off the bat, some of the sounds here, just like in Folds, there are just absolute gems in here, like complete diamonds, 10 out of 10 S tier stuff. The kind of things that, like, when you hear it, you go like, I have to have this. Like, I don't care if this is the only sound I use out of this, I have to get this and use it. I had that feeling with this. I didn't count, but at like many times, I would guess at least 10 times. Maybe someone can check, but I did a lot of my walkaways in disbelief because they are just that good. I will also say that in the beginning of this video, I played far less with this mod wheel here, which affects the morphing of this, which is a central part of this and really brings this to life. So I should have done that more from the very get-go. I got more into it as we dove deeper here. So I will mention that as a caveat here. For me, I mean, the drones are just like dark ambient heaven for me. If you make any kind of like cinematic, darker toned things, they're just fantastic. And when you push this mod wheel, you have this beautiful change in depth and size. It's just really well done. Like I said in the demo many times, they do beautifully the filtering back, so the sound becomes sort of, you know, more distant, but then they also expand the reverb and the sense of space into there, so it doesn't only go back, but it goes like really back. And then also your focus shifts on the heftiness and the scope and the size of the backdrop, so it's kind of a very three-dimensional type of thing. It's not just front and back, but it's like complete perspective shift, and they do that superbly well. probably better than anyone else in this category that I've heard. Really like the keys. We don't have many here. We only have 7 different ones. So I would love to see more of these in the future, because I really loved the playables, like the keys in folds. I do remember that much. A lot of like really vibey, lo-fi, dark things, like Neon Noir. It's just beautiful sound. I would love more stuff in here. I don't know how difficult it would be to pull more of those key type things from this source material, but regardless, would love to see more of that. In terms of the kind of the inspiration for this library, there were some of the presets in here, some of the snapshots that utilize those, you know, clearly audible strings more. So I would guess those were some of the viola things, and then probably some of the acoustic ones as well. So that's really, I would say, maybe the only prominent place where I would notice like, oh, that's the string thing there. But then it sort of really becomes more like something they blend into these sounds, and indeed they do beautifully bring this organic quality into these otherwise sort of very mechanical and slightly, you know, synthetic elements. So they blend those really, really well. I would not think of this sort of primarily as a string cinematic soundscapey library. It's more like something they happen to use, and then they do the cinematic beauty really, really well with it. But that was something I expected maybe more of, but this turned out to be more like just a brilliant soundscape, cinematic sound design, you know, world building tool in that regard. A lot of the stuff in pads and motions and probably textures, there is a lot of overlap in terms of the style of the sounds. Like a lot of them are these sort of droney soundscapes, and then they have a lot of overlap. And I've said this before with many different libraries, that's not necessarily a negative. I can see how that can be a negative for some people. They just think, oh, it's too much of the same. But if you use this kind of stuff a lot, then you actually want to have a wide scope of different options, because I might be scoring a scene and you find something that works, but maybe it's not perfect. And then you start to sort of dial in terms of finding the perfect right sound. And in those kind of situations, you want to have a pool, a kind of very varied pool and palette of these type of sounds, because they might sort of be similar in general principle, but once you start applying them in context, they're really not similar at all. They evoke very kind of different things. So for me, for my style of writing and for my experience, it's a really good thing to have overlap becomes a strength in that case, because you can choose different tints, you can choose different tones and colors that you want to utilize, and sort of find your way closer and closer to the absolute, you know, perfect sound that you're after. But you know, I don't blame people for, you know, finding some of them to be too samey or similar. What else do I want to touch on here? Yeah, I just like some of these are just bonkers good, like S-tier sound design stuff. So like I said, if I find something that is just superbly good and I want to write a piece of music with it, if I want to write a single track with it because it's so good and so well done, it's so ready to go, I'm willing to, you know, pay quite a bit of money for that. So yeah, for me to find any kind of diamonds in a library, it kind of makes it very much closer for me to, you know, go for a purchase. And this one has like a ton of them, which is from this kind of a pool, we have a fair bit of snapshots, but not like a ton. So percentage-wise, quite a lot of that is, you know, in that diamond league. So that's an impressive feat on its own. And yeah, I just can't emphasize how good some of the sound design here is, like how just evocative, expansive, captivating it is. That's really, really good. I think I might have said this also about folds, and as we touched on, we don't have like a crap ton of snapshots, so I would love to see more of them. This is kind of like, it's a tough thing, like these must be really difficult to create. So would I want to see, like, I don't want to see volume for the sake of volume, but you get really greedy and hungry when you hear those like S tier sounds. So you go like, can I have a bit more of that, please? And you're clearly getting their craft, their ability. When you buy this, you get those fantastic sounds and you can utilize them. Yes, you can tweak them, but you get their experience, their perspective, their skill, and you can utilize that. So I would just love to get more of that. That's I think a very natural response, but I understand you also need to balance, you know, quality. You can't just be creating nothing but diamonds. But yeah, if there was a bit more quantity, then that would kind of undoubtedly produce more of those diamond sounds as well. And that all being said, there's nothing like crappy in here. It's all really, really good stuff. It's simply, obviously, to a degree subjective, what you like and what you emphasize, but it's some of these just really, you know, blow the bank, so to speak. No, that's not the right saying. That means something is expensive, which this is not. It means they're really good. I'm getting super tired here, super unfocused, and I've been rambling for long enough. Super impressed by this. I can't wait to hear what they create next. Folds is still probably my favorite out of these two. I can definitely hear the trajectory of growth in there. And I think also the source samples, like using vocals and different voices, maybe just, you know, is more of my style or speaks to me a bit more. But yeah, I can't wait to hear what the next thing is going to be. I'm really happy they actually brought the folds lessons into this one. I'd never tried the first iteration of this, but this very much wrestles in that same league as folds. So very cool to check this out. If you have this at your home or at your studio, let me know what you think. And as always, let me know what you think of this video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Finished.